Hi guys, we're going to be moving on to lesson number 7 today. And we're going to be talking about the setting, but we're also going to continue talking about text features. So we've been learning that good readers analyze the text structure and the text features in order to determine how to read the text for understanding. Today I'm going to teach you that good readers gather important information about the historical setting from the introduction, text features, videos, and outside text. So we've already watched part of a documentary before when we were at school about the setting and about the gold rush. Today we're going to look at just the beginning of the introduction, and then we'll look at a very short outside text. So first I'm going to read the first 2 paragraphs of the introduction. As I'm reading this, I want you to be thinking, what does this article explain and why is it important? Like, why is it important to help me understand what I'm going to be reading throughout this text? So introduction. Leaves on the nearby trees were turning yellow and a chilly wind blew through the gold camp. 10-year-old Donald McDonald watched the miners shovel the pay dirt into the wooden solace boxes. When the miners stopped the water flowing through the boxes, Donald's father motioned him over, dipping both hands in the freezing liquid. Donald felt around in the gravel and sand at the bottom. Suddenly, up came his fingers, clutching shiny nuggets. "Gold!" he screamed. "Look, Mama, I'm rich!" The miners and the prospectors laughed. They wanted to get rich too, and some of them did. 100 years ago, scenes like these were repeated throughout the Yukon and Alaska territories, wherever gold was being mined. In America and around the world, people had lost their jobs and were suffering through a great economic depression. So when news arrived about gold discoveries in the North Country, thousands of men and women traveled there to seek their fortune. As a result, many children grew up in these gold rush settlements. Okay. So you should be asking yourself, why do we think that might be important? And I just made a connection to when we were looking at the table of contents. I see Donald McDonald, that name stuck out to me. That was in our table of contents. Okay, so let's look at the map next. This was the map that was on after the introduction. This map just shows Alaska and the Yukon Territory, but I wanted to also put in this map here because it shows you where that is in relation to the United States. So we know that most of the people were settled around here. It caused westward expansion to California, but it also caused people to explore up here to the Yukon Territory and Alaska. So you can see how far that is. So why might that be important to look at this map and see where people were traveling to escape economic depression? And we're going to talk about economic depression, what that means. So when I asked myself the question, what does the map and article explain and why is the map important? I said the map explains the geographical features of the Yukon and Alaska Territory, which helps me understand where people had to go to pan for gold, to really show how far it was. Okay, so now we're going to look at an outside text by Sarah Collinage. And Sarah Collinage is the person who kind of creates the rollout for these lessons. So she also made this outside text. And as you can see, she even added some text features, some bold print. So we know that when we see bold print, that's going to be an important word, and oftentimes it's defined in a key or in a glossary. So Discovered Gold by Sarah Collinage. That one next. On August 16th, 1896, 2 prospectors, Skookum Jim and George Carmack, discovered gold nuggets while panning on Rabbit Creek. Their discovery pan yielded more than 1/4 ounce of gold. The 2 men stacked their claim and were instantly rich. Within a matter of days, Rabbit Creek was named Bonanza. The creek was stocked by local prospectors from end to end. These local prospectors became known as the Klondike Kings because of the tremendous amount of gold they found over the next year. During the time of the Klondike Gold Rush, many people were experiencing tight times as a result of economic depression. We'll come back to that. This was the time when Americans experienced low pay and high unemployment. The depression that lasted from 1893 to 1897 had people praying for a miracle. A year after the discovery of gold on Rabbit Creek, the people of Seattle believed they had been given that miracle. On July 17th, 1897, the SS Portland docked in Seattle carrying at least 2 tons of gold. The same morning, people quit their jobs and began buying provisions for their journey to Klondike. Within 10 days, over 1,500 people would leave Seattle for the Klondike. They had gold fever. Okay, so let's go to economic depression. So economic depression, like it says in the text, it gives you the definition by following the term with a sentence, but it also has it down here below it's kind of like a key. So it says a period of decreased business activity and high unemployment. Okay. So people weren't buying or selling, and people weren't in jobs, so they didn't have enough money to live. And also the cost of things went up because people weren't buying. Okay. Prospectors are people who are looking for gold or other mineral deposits. Claim, a plot of ground staked by a miner to show where he or she can mine. So they kind of claimed a territory, almost like people do when they shovel out a spot for their car in the snow. They put a chair or a cone there so that no one else can go there. That's what they were doing during the gold rush. In provisions, we talked about this word before we have our break, our unplanned break, that provisions are a stock of necessary supplies that you need to survive, especially food. Okay. So what I want you to do for the discussion part today, in the comment section, I want you to comment if you would go to Pan for Gold. So it could be California, it could be Alaska, but if you lived where we live now, would you travel, bring all of your provisions, and go? Or would you avoid gold fever and stay here? Okay. Let me know. Bye, guys.